Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a new edition of the EKN OutLap. It is episode 38, April the 26th, 2022. My name is Rob Howden, and as you can likely hear, I'm battling a little bit of a cold today. This is interesting. Not sure what happens. I don't normally get sick, but got a little bit of head cold here right now. Hopefully it'll go away soon. Thankfully, this particular edition of the EKN OutLap is our preview of the upcoming Carolina Grand Prix, the second rounds of the US PKS series. And David Cole, you'll be doing the heavy lifting. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll talk as much as I can, Rob. You know, I love to talk. I love to just go on and on about this and that. And
that's true.
Really, I am excited to get back to a podcast. It's been almost a month since we've been able to talk about racing and karting in general. We've had a long break from our trackside coverage. Last time we were trackside was Challenge of the Americas. So, or you were at, SCUSA Pro Tour Winter Nationals. So you had a week ahead of me or a week after me. So, but it's been a while. So I'm looking forward to getting trackside, but ready to talk about the event in this podcast.
This edition of the EKN OutLap presented by Parolin USA. It all started in 1994 when former kart driver Albino Parolin decided to move his passion for karting from the track to his small workshop. That's when Parolin was born. Parolin USA is North America's source for Parolin products, and we run a factory race team at all of the major Superkarts USA, USPKS, and Rock Cup USA events. The Parolin chassis lineup for 2022 includes the Invader Shifter, the Le Mans Tag single-speed chassis for junior and senior drivers, the 28mm Opportunity model for the cadet classes, and the Daytona 4-cycle chassis. Get on the chassis that's winning. Drive a Parolin. For more information, head to ParolinUSA.com. So indeed, David, you're heading down there to GoPro Motorplex this weekend. In fact, probably jumping on a plane on Thursday, April 28th to May 1st, the date for that one. The opening rounds, as we know, back in Florida, massive event to start off this year's United States Pro Kart Series, but heading to a place where it's been, I don't want to say the home of it, you know what I mean? But it's really been kind of a core facility down at GoPro.
I would kind of call it the unofficial home, being that.
Yeah.
You know, it launched back in 2013 at what was then known as Morrisville Motorplex, the inaugural United States Pro Kart Series event in April of 2013 was held there. So, and they've visited this facility every single season, and we're now in the 10th season of the program. So
nice.
You got to call it kind of the unofficial home. It started there. It's been there every year since. So I don't know another way of saying unofficial home, because it's a series. They go to multiple different racetracks.
Right. I
know. There's not just one single racetrack for the series, but an unofficial home. This is kind of the home track.
I like it. It's rounds 3 and 4 of an 8-round championship. They count the best 7 races. So again, 4 weekends, all double headers. David mentioned 10th season of the program, historic to get that first decade in. And David, here we are, the end of April, and the weather's been really weird all over the country. Different places, warm, cold, snow. It's going to be nice though down in Morrisville this weekend.
Well, hopefully, weather is changing as you typically know, day to day, hour by hour. And now looking, I wrote yesterday in the script, it was going to be highs of 70s, all sunny all weekend. Unfortunately, they're showing rain on Saturday, 50% chance of rain on Saturday, and then 35% on Sunday. So again, we can never escape the wet weather for USPKS, especially at the GoPro Motorplex.
And the David Cole factor.
Hey, it didn't rain in Orlando, and then
you're right.
And then the weekend after, it downpoured for the Rock Cup USA Florida Winter Tour. So
that's true. That is true.
It's not all me, baby. It's not all me.
Let's have a look at this racetrack. As everyone knows, one of the premier tracks in North American karting. 7/10 of a mile layout, essentially duplicated after the famed Parma circuit in Italy, built back in 2012. David had already mentioned the first visit for the USPKS was that inaugural series event when it was indeed MMP, Mooresville Motorplex. 10th trip, as David said, to the GoPro Motorplex. Let's have a look at the schedule, David. Pretty standard stuff for what USPKS has been doing, but give us an overview of the schedule from Thursday on.
Yeah, Thursday will be the optional practice. 99% of the competitors are taking part in it. It's operated by the track themselves from 12 noon to 6 p.m. Friday, we'll get into 3 rounds of official practice before we head into the lunch break and drivers meeting. And then we'll get into that new format of qualifying on Friday. We'll begin with Sunday qualifying, and then they'll change the tires and go into Saturday qualifying, and that'll be followed up with the cookout. And then we'll get into the racing action on Saturday with round 3 pre-final, LCQs and finals. And then again, round 4 on Sunday with warm-up, pre-final, LCQs and finals. Those categories that will have the pre-final split up and run LCQs will be right now provisionally X30 Pro, KA100 Senior, KA100 Junior, and Mini Swift. And essentially you'll take the top 18 drivers from the 2 pre-finals. Those drivers will be automatically into the final. Then you'll take the top 4 from the LCQ, and that'll be your field of 40 drivers to compete in those categories. The other categories nearly sold out, I think, for Micro Swift and X30 Junior. We'll talk more about that and by the numbers.
Yeah, Mark Coates dropped me a text on the way home. I was on the road D&D USF Juniors event at Ozarks, and I got a text and said almost hitting 300. So when we get back from this break, folks, we'll go by the numbers. Another massive event for the USPKS.
Are you ready to go from karts to cars? Since 1975, the Skip Barber Racing School has taken great drivers and made them champions. Today, we're proud to welcome the next generation of winners. Make the transition from karts to cars with the Skip Barber Formula Race Series. You'll compete at the most iconic tracks in America. Race weekends include your very own equalized Formula 4 race car, a professional crew, expert instruction, video and data analysis, hospitality, and more. This is the place to fulfill your dream of becoming a champion. Sign up today by calling 866-932-1949 or visit us at skipbarber.com.
History, success, family. Those are the 3 words that describe Comet Kart Sales, one of the longest tenured karting businesses in the United States. The family-owned operation is located just outside of Indianapolis, and they have provided karts, parts, and services for thousands of racers throughout their near 6 decades of business. Comet's online store features everything you need, continually adding new parts to their product line. Comet Kart Sales attends dozens of karting events every year, offering trackside service for racers and families. Karting veterans Mark Dismore Jr. and Gary Lawson provide one-on-one driver coaching and tuning assistance for each trackside customer. The engine building business, Comet Racing Engines, has won countless major events and championships over decades of karting, and they continue to offer the best trackside service in the industry. Make sure you head to CometKartSales.com or call them at 317-462-3413 to be a part of the Comet Kart Sales family today.
Welcome back to the EKN OutLap preview podcast for this coming weekend's United States Pro Kart Series Carolina Grand Prix, the second event of the 4-event schedule. Rounds 3 and 4 getting set to go at GoPro Motorplex. Rob Howden here alongside David Cole. David, Orlando, big, obviously, record numbers, massive launch for the USPKS at 323. But they're rolling in with 298 pre-entries. They could go back-to-back 300-plus entries, which is absolutely staggering.
And that's something I think will have happen. We know GoPro Motorplex has a ton of local competitors. Yeah. Literally, they had over 300 entries for their club race this past weekend. And that's all in one day.
Wow.
It's just an amazing feat. They kind of do a split day where they run half the categories in the morning where they get, qualifying, heat race, and final. And then they do the other half of the categories with qualifying, heat race, and a final to kind of, help kind of speed up the process, allow some competitors to be done, early, or if you're in the afternoon, not have to be there until later in the day. So amazing feat. But again, majority of the competitors that are going to be there this weekend were there already testing, essentially using that club race as their test weekend for this upcoming race that we have coming up. And again, looking at the numbers, 65 is the highest total we got right now with KA100 Senior.
Yeah, 65 drivers is staggering for this kind of a program. I love it. It's good to see it. Now, we'd love to see a lot of numbers higher up in like the pro category, but still David, pro at 42, 65 total. But if you look at the KA 100 and KA 100 senior and junior, 117 total in those two categories, 65 in senior, 52 in junior.
Yeah, it's a staggering amount. And again,
wow.
that's where we're seeing the numbers grow across the country, is in that 100cc division. We keep talking about it over and over and over. The mini drivers, they're moving up into the KA 100 junior ranks instead of moving directly into that X30 junior category, help get them adjusted, acclimated to the full size karts, or literally just the speed difference. X30 senior or X30 junior engine package is certainly super fast compared to a mini Swift engine package. So it allows that kind of intermediate move up the ranks. And, we're seeing a lot of competitors in that. And we're seeing a lot of regional drivers moving up into USPKS through that category as well, too. So that has a lot of boost, even in the senior ranks, a lot of regional drivers in that category as well. So it's just kind of been the focus over the last couple of years. And again, USPKS, one of the first programs to run the KA 100 engine division. I want to say back in 2017 was the first year that they introduced it.
One of the interesting things, David, is that other series around the country where they may have really strong 100cc numbers, they don't have the same in the 125cc liquid cooled tag classes, maybe not even running them. This series, though, 42 in both pro and junior X30.
Well, I think it's kind of, I was talking with somebody about this the other day. It's almost like a trend. We've seen where the West Coast was kind of like the leader of the pack in terms of karting and in terms of the country as a whole. I think now more so the East Coast has just kind of become what the West Coast used to be. We have even you look at the number of shifter kart drivers that are out there, the East Coast is actually steadily growing in that, where our Masters drivers steadily growing more Masters drivers on the East Coast than what we have on the West Coast. I almost think it's like a cyclical thing where it's just it's swayed that way, whether it's due to economy factors, whether it's due to just the type of different karting programs that are out there. Not exactly, you can't quite pinpoint it. But, the USPKS program certainly helps that boost, because it's, numbers breed numbers, as you continue to say over and over again. And this is one of those programs that have just, bred numbers. And the X30 Pro division, you had 57 in Orlando, or 42 this week. And that's a drop. But you got to expect you're going to have walk-ups in that category. You'll probably have walk-ups in KA 100 senior as well, too, because that engine package is so well liked at the region or at the club level there. So again, the opportunity to get over 300 is certain. It's probably going to happen. It's just a matter of what categories they'll dwindle into. But it's just
where the pump is going to be. Yep.
And again, a lot of the West Coast drivers are coming to USPKS to race in the X30 Pro and X30 Junior. So again, it's just a number of different factors that are leading to the growth in this program.
65 in KA 100 senior, 52 in KA 100 junior, as I had said. Good group in mini and micro, 41 in mini Swift, 37 in micro. Excuse me, 42 in both X30 Pro and Junior, and David, 19 as well in X30 Masters. We've seen Masters not been super strong nationally. This isn't a massive number, but 19 down from 21 in Orlando. Still a decent field of Masters drivers.
A steady at that 20 mark, I think, is where you're going to see Masters numbers. Anytime you go anywhere in USPKS, it grew to that last year over the last couple of years. Now we're there, it's kind of plateaued at that mark. And again, as the seasons go on, we'll get more and more drivers involved. But again, is it going to be that transition to KA 100 for Masters? That's something that we'll kind of have to keep watching from afar.
That's a very good point. 267 entries at GoPro last year. They're going to be at least 30 over this one. So some pretty staggering growth there. And again, David, all last year's events at USPKS over 250. They're looking at trying to start at over 300. I don't know that they'll be able to continue that one throughout the year, but nonetheless, if they can get, as you said, pretty certain they'll be able to get 300 with walk-up. Just a great start. A lot of momentum for USPKS.
Yeah, not sure about the 300 mark when we head up to Road America in July. I think a lot of people are going to be wanting to go there. But then again, you get into the second half of the season. Some people aren't in the championship. They're like, we got other things to do in the summer.
That's it.
Or the numbers breed numbers. People have never been there. There are a lot of different other factors. Hey, Road America is kind of that cool niche, never been thing, or just being at Road America is a cool thing. So we'll see. I think you can get to that 250 mark again for Road America. We'll just kind of have to wait and see. And again, it just depends on who wants to travel there.
That's it. All right, folks, on the break in the action, we get back. Time to go class by class on the previews. X30 Pro and KA100 Senior after this break.
In racing, experience is priceless. Franklin Motorsports is a leader in the karting industry with over 50 years of combined karting experience, and we can provide you with everything you need to go racing. With a large online product selection, select track support events, and a wide variety of shop services, Franklin Motorsports is your complete karting source. Check out our online store at www.franklinkart.com, where all our products are just a mouse click away. We're constantly adding to the growing product selection on the online store, and we ship daily to ensure products get to you quickly. We specialize in IAME engines, tilt seats, ceramic products, driveline branded products, Briggs & Stratton engines, OTK products, and of course, the championship-winning Merlin chassis. In our online store, you'll find a variety of items to fill your karting needs. Franklin Motorsports is also known for our wide variety of services and is home to Innovative Engine Works by FMS, our in-house engine service department. Frame straightening, kart prep, and dyno testing are all services offered regularly at Franklin Motorsports. For all things karting, visit franklinkart.com. You can buy all the latest and greatest products on the market, but when you're karting to win, it boils down to one thing: you, the driver. Gain the knowledge and abilities by investing in yourself at the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy, and you'll find those extra tenths of a second you need to put yourself on the podium. The school was established by SuperKarts USA Hall of Fame driver Alan Rudolph, with decades of victories and championships in multiple forms of the sport, including other disciplines of racing. The Alan Rudolph Racing Academy, located at the Speed Sports Racing Park in the metropolitan Houston area, is designed to teach driving skills at all levels. The instructors at the Academy have decades of racing experience and educating drivers of all ages. Classes at the Academy will teach the concepts and skills needed both behind the wheel and off the track. From the beginning kart racing experience and intro to karting courses, to their advanced 1-day and 2-day courses and karting clinics, the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy can improve the skills of any driver. For more information on the specific programs that the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy can provide for you, head to speedsports.com and click on the Racing Academy page. Be sure to follow the Academy on social media by searching for Alan Rudolph Racing Academy.
Welcome back to the EKN OutLap as we preview the upcoming Carolina Grand Prix, rounds 3 and 4 of the United States Pro Kart Series, taking place this coming weekend at the GoPro Motorplex in Mooresville, North Carolina. David Cole, myself, Rob Howden here. David, let's jump into X30 Pro. Let's have a look at what we've got in terms of racing-wise. Ryan Norberg kicking things off with big wins to start the season, a couple of victories. He leads the points by 60 points over Alessandro D'Attulio, Aaron Benoit back by 121, Thomas Naveau by 125, and Marian Kremers by 143. But as you've gone through the entry lists, there's some pretty interesting no-shows, and a couple extra guys getting added to the program.
Well, yeah, the championship-wise, we kind of look at it first off, and Norberg's top challengers, the top 3 guys in line, are not on the entry list. 2 of them are going to be with you and Barber. That includes Alessandro D'Attulio and Thomas Naveau he'll be in the USF 2000. Alessandro will be racing in the USF Juniors program. So those 2 guys will not be at GoPro. I was not able to confirm or deny if Aaron Benoit Benoit was going to be at GoPro. Did not get a message back from him. So as of right now, he's to be determined. But he's not on the entry list, so that's that's the that's the kind of the way we have to go with it right now, and that puts Kremers as the leading championship contender. But he's 143 points back in Norberg right now.
Yeah, it's a big cushion there for Norberg going into this, knowing that those drivers who were right with him in the points not going to be able to be or not going to be there. A couple additions, David, that I thought were interesting. I saw Austin Garrison on the docket, as well as Race Liberanti moving to the X30 senior category, the pro class.
Yeah, Austin Garrison is slated to compete this weekend in the X30 pro division. Haven't seen him do that in a few years. We saw him do a KA racing last year a little bit, a couple one-offs there. I'm trying to think of the year, but I think it was the first year we went to Ocala. Garrison came out and put a stomping on when he was racing with the CRG. This time around, I'm not quite sure who he's racing with. I think it's with Speed Concept Racing. Not sure on that, but it does have him listed as a Tony Kart. So we'll have to get more information on that. But and then, as you said, also Race Liberante, he competed in the KA 100 senior division last time in Orlando, moving over to the X30 Pro division this weekend. So maybe racing will be a little bit cleaner for him this time around.
Some of the drivers you think we need to be watching for here? I think obviously the GoPro track brings other names into the fight.
It does, and just kind of to look at championship things again. Norberg has a solid lead going in, but there's a number of drivers that are sitting there behind Kremers. That includes Paul Bocuse, Nate Cicero, Hayden Jones, who won here last year at his home track with his RPG debut. So him and Cicero, RPG teammates. Cameron Weinberg is another driver to watch as well. Doing really good on the CRG with Speed Concepts Racing. And another Speed Concepts Racing driver on the Red Speed is Jack Jeffers. So that's the top 10, essentially now the top 6 in the championship chase, if indeed Benoit does not compete at GoPro. So those are kind of some of the drivers to watch in terms of championship. But again, when you got a field of 42 drivers, there's a number of them that are going to be in contention for victories and podiums.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned Jeremy Fletcher yet. Obviously, not in the championship fight based on his results at Orlando. But you got to think about Jeremy Fletcher, of course. At any time you're talking about GoPro, you always talk about Dalton Haynes and Paulie Massimino.
For sure, yeah. Fletcher's going to be among those in contention. Won last year in the junior ranks, won both junior championships last year at the USPKS program by winning at GoPro. So he knows the racetrack, does very well. And then you also mentioned, there's a number of locals that are going to be doing well there. Dalton Haynes is going to be one of them. He certainly put himself on the map at the Miami Grand National Championships last year, put in a solid performance, done very well at the other races that he's competed at, including the Super Nationals as well. And then what was the other name you mentioned? I'm sorry.
Paulie Massimino.
Yeah, Paulie Massimino. Sorry, forgot. Paulie does, again, another driver did really well at the Miami Grand Nationals championship last year, and again a winner in USPKS competition at GoPro Motorplex. So anybody who has a hometown of North Carolina should do very well. Yeah, you got Massimino, Hayden Jones, Haynes. Looking at the list, Tyler Wettengal is another one too. He does really well at GoPro. Kind of here and there, both in the KA 100 and X30 Pro. So I think he'll be one to watch. They did have that, as I mentioned, they had that GoPro Club race. It was Ryan Norberg taking the win ahead of Austin Garrison, and Ryan Raffa, the driver out of Pennsylvania, ended up finishing in the 3rd spot. I believe they're working with Full Tilt Racing, Mike Doty Racing. So it could be that Brandon Jarzakrak connection there that's kind of helping Rafa be good. We know Jarzakrak's done so well at GoPro Motorplex, kind of is his unofficial home now with the racing operation that he's doing and working with Mike Doty Racing as well. So watch for some of the Mike Doty Racing drivers to be good there.
I agree. Yeah, I think it's a really good point. Let's go to from X30 Pro to KA100 Senior. 65 drivers in total. Drivers scoring the wins down at Orlando: Brandon Lemke and Alex Stanfield. Lemke leads the points by, just 35 over Stanfield. Jeremy Fletcher right there in third with 63. Aaron Benoit, as David had said, no entry yet for Benoit. He's 100 back, and Connor Ferris 109 points back. Again, no Benoit, but 8 of the top 10, David, are racing this weekend, and along with a bunch of locals, as we expected.
Yeah, 8 of the top 10 championship contenders as of right now are going to be at GoPro. That includes, as you said, the top 4 of the top 5. Also, Nick Terlecki, Chase Hand, Josh Holtz, Gia Cicero. Those drivers are sitting in the top 10 in points. We know Terlecki does really well at GoPro. And Gia Cicero, she's been really doing well over these last few months. Got good performances at both SCUSA Winter Series and then the SCUSA Winter Nationals, if I recall correctly. I wasn't there.
On the podium.
Sure, there you go. See, I'm trying to pull up results that I don't know. But she's been pretty impressive this year. So I think it's now her third season racing in the K100 Senior Division. So getting that experience under her belt. And it's starting to show now, going the racetracks over and over again. I think it's building that confidence up. But you got to expect the Merlin brand with Lemke, Terlecki, Josh Holtz to be super quick as well. But I think more so than any category, K100 Senior, I think you're going to see a lot of locals be in contention all weekend long. One of those, includes Paulie Massimino, who will be doing double duty this weekend. He ended up winning the club race that was this past Saturday ahead of a familiar name we know from Karting Pass, Dusty Davis, another North Carolina resident living now in Mooresville. Dalton Haynes was third, Weston Workman was fourth, and then Aiden Levy in the fifth spot. So 5 drivers that call GoPro Motorplex home, finishing in the top 5 at the club race. All 5 of the, or 4 of the 5 of them, going to be racing this weekend. No Dusty Davis, but the other ones will be racing.
Well, now you throw some of the other names that we've seen up front in the fight, right? Like a Finnegan Bailiff, Colin Lloyd, Peyton Phillips. I don't want, you can't, or Aiden Rudolph. Aiden's really turned things up, David, in 100cc this year as well.
Yeah, he's been one of the rookies to watch. Moved up from the junior ranks now into the senior ranks, so he's been one of those to watch. There's just a number of different drivers that are kind of going to be in the hunt. Austin Jers is another rookie moving up.
Had that one highlighted.
He'll be kind of one to watch. I don't believe he raced at Orlando, so this will be his USPKS debut in the senior ranks. So I think he actually was among those competing at the Route 66 Sprint Series race at Newcastle, was among the top 5 contenders all weekend there. But again, there's so many different names you can go through. I know. Looks like Diego Ramos is actually going KA100 senior racing. So he's in the entry list. That could be a driver to watch as well. He's not entered in X30 Pro, so just KA100 senior. So possibly because of the DNFs that he suffered in X30 Pro at Orlando, he's made the transition to race KA100 Senior. That could be a name to watch up front, because he's up front in X30 Pro.
Yeah, here's a couple of Texans too, David. John Burke and Nick Bruckner. Our boy Nick Bruckner coming back for another run. He'll be running the Tony Kart there as well.
Yeah, again, just looking at the entry list, I'm going to say that it's going to be a North Carolina driver that wins both main events. I just have that feeling.
David's dropping the hammer.
I'm dropping the hammer right now. I just, you look at how many different local drivers are competing in this category. The odds on favorite are somebody from North Carolina winning the main events. But again, you got a lot of top national drivers. You've already mentioned a number of different names that are going to be there. It's just, this category, it's just so hard to kind of pinpoint like one. I think Lemke is going to be, if it's anybody, obviously Lemke and Stanfield are going to be those drivers, and then Fletcher as well, that are going to be challenging the locals for victories. But that's the way I look at it going through. I mean, even you look like Brooke Nachman, like she's won GoPro, before in the junior ranks. So this, is this going to be her weekend to, stay out of trouble, be clean, and get good laps and qualifying to be able to race up front? And there's a number of female drivers, and you talked about Gia Cicero, Lydia Small from Glendale, Arizona. She's making the trek out. And then you add in Brooke Knockman there as well, too. So a number of female drivers in the category.
All right, folks, let's go to another break here. We get back. We'll go X30 Junior, KA100 Junior, and X30 Masters. Time to knock off 3 more categories, previewing this weekend's Carolina Grand Prix, rounds 3 and 4 of the United States Pro Kart Series.
Made in the USA. That's exactly what you get from Precision Karting Technologies. Based in Detroit, Michigan, PKT brings over 35 years of manufacturing experience to the sport of karting. Their passion for the sport began focusing around the Kid Kart platform and has expanded every year with hundreds of products designed to put you on the podium. Precision Karting Technologies is known around North America for their successful line of axles available in all age groups. PKT manufactures a number of engine products for Comer, IAME, Rock, Rotax, and the popular Briggs & Stratton 206. A wide variety of chassis components for the many brands in the sport are available through PKT, including hubs, pedal risers, skid plates, and other hardware for your kart. Axle straightening, chassis adjustments, engine service, and specific CNC machining projects are available through their Motor City headquarters. To learn more about the many products and services available from Precision Karting Technologies, head to pktaxles.com. In karting, it's important to be supported by the right people. With over 40 years of experience in the sport, Trinity Karting Group has everything you need to make your program successful. We do it all, and we do it right. Trackside support and arrive and drive programs at many of karting's biggest East Coast events, full product sales and service, and professional coaching from our experienced staff. Trinity Karting Group is a full-service operation based at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, which gives us access to our custom-designed driver training facility. This allows us to offer private one-on-one coaching to take you to the next level. From arrive and drive and coaching programs to the parts you need, let Trinity Karting Group provide you with customer service and a racing experience second to none. Trinity Karting Group is an official Kart Republic race team, providing full trackside support at all the major USA karting events, including the SCUSA Pro Tour, United States Pro Kart Series, SCUSA Super Nationals 25, and other events throughout the 2022 season. TKG has in stock Kart Republic, IAME, MG and Avinco tires, and more products for those in Ohio and the Midwest region. Trinity Karting Group has a long history of the sport, a winning pedigree, and we're dedicated to driver development. We take pride in our professional approach and our positive attitude. Let us build a custom race program for you. Give us a call at 513-421-4463 or check us out online at trinitykartinggroup.com.
Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network. Thank you so much for tuning into this edition of our EKN OutLap, our preview podcast, all part of our EKN Trackside live coverage. Rob Howden here alongside David Cole. David, of course, will be trackside for the coverage all weekend long. Make sure to follow everything on social media. David will have reports up on the website as well. Let's go to X30 Junior, David. 42 drivers in total, both Caleb Gaffera and Aiden Ingrata getting wins at the opening rounds in Orlando back in March. Gaffera with the point lead by only 10 markers over Ingrata, very early, of course, in the championship discussion. Leonardo Scorpioni, 65 points back. Max Garcia, 81 points in arrears. And Christian Miles rounding out the top 5 plus 142. One interesting thing, David, and you've mentioned this in the script here, there won't be a last chance qualifier. 42 drivers, you're saying here now?
That's what I have. Yeah. 42 drivers on the entry list. Correct. That's what, let me go back to the numbers. 42. We had 44 at Orlando. So again,
pre-finals are going to be packed.
Pre-finals and mains, obviously. Mains are obviously going to be packed because we have them all over 40.
Have a full field anyway.
But yeah, for the X30 Junior, that's this category. We haven't seen this amount of numbers in this category. Orlando was kind of the first. Normally it's like 30 something has been kind of the highest we've seen in this category. So you're throwing 10 more karts out there. I think it's just, and the way the GoPro track races, it's a lot different than Orlando. It's gonna be a little bit tight out there and a little busy. Drivers going for certain gaps that may not be there and stuff like that. So I'm foreseeing the future. I'm going to say there's going to be a little bit more contact in this category than any of the other categories.
All right. David giving another drop in the hammer again. This is what we're going to see here. Wow.
It's the Nostradamus. It's the David Nostradamus.
You feel like you're going to be starting giving out previews, are you? I like it. All right.
I just have that feeling for some reason about this category. The way we've seen this category race at GoPro before, it just, there's always been a little bit of contact here and there. And again, the fields weren't that big. Now we're a full size field. I just feel there's going to be a little bit more contact than what we're used to.
So in the club race, Caleb Gaffera gets the win, and Caleb obviously on a lot of momentum right now to start the season off. And this is, you mentioned before, we did talk about the break, that the local driver is getting, maybe a little bit of an advantage for this weekend. Gaffera's got tons of laps at GoPro. He's a North Carolina boy. Enzo Vidmontien was second in the club race. Ernesto Rivera was in third. We saw Rivera be very good at the SCUSA Winter Nationals. Scorpione and Garcia rounding out the top five. So, you obviously got to talk about Gaffera and Garcia being two of the primary guys to challenge David. But again, when you look at local drivers, is there anybody else other than the Gaffera that you kind of look for as a top North Carolina driver?
Adam Brickley could be one to watch. He calls Mooresville home under the Trinity Karting Group, Kart Republic. He's shown speed, just hasn't been able to put together a complete weekend. So hopefully at his home track, he'll be able to do that. Right. So him and Gaffar are pretty much the only North Carolina drivers, at least in X30 Junior. So again, I think it's going to be more familiar names that we're used to seeing, with Ingrata, Garcia, Scorpione, again, placed fourth at the club race, and he finished third to both Gaffera and Ingrata at Orlando. So he's kind of got a little bit of momentum going. So he could be one of the challenge. I think Garcia obviously as well too, but there's a lot of other names as well. Christian Miles, we said he's sitting fifth there in points. He likes the GoPro Motorplex as well too. Our March driver of the month, Stephen Miller. I could see him being one of those, if he can come to grips with the racetrack quickly. Again, doing double duty as well. So he could be one of those as well that could be in the fight. And then, of course, you talk, Sebastian Weldon, Vidmontien, Max Taylor, a number of different names that could be in the hunt this weekend.
Another one that I'll throw out there only because we kind of watched him from the Winter Series on, and talking to Mike Rawlson from the Rawlson Performance Group, always talking highly about Teddy Musella, who has had a pretty good start to the season, and he's been right in the fight there, top 10, top 5s occasionally. So Musella, again, I think is going to improve throughout the season. Obviously going to have good data because Gaffera, we know how quick he's been, so the data is going to be there to get the job done. So maybe a Teddy Musella, and you can't count out Parker DeLong, David, anytime he's on the list either.
Well, Musella's sitting sixth in points, so he had a good Orlando weekend, stayed out of trouble, got some good points, and sitting there sixth, only 7 points back of Christian Miles. So again, to be able to race there, race at GoPro will be good. I should pull up the GoPro results and see if he was there at the GoPro club race. Give me a second here, but yeah, DeLong's another one who has a lot of experience at GoPro Motorplex. He used to be with Nitro Kart and raced there. They call GoPro Motorplex their home racetrack, so he's got a lot of laps there. Didn't quite have the performance he wanted to, I think, in Orlando, but he could be one to watch this weekend. So what name am I looking for again?
Who are we talking about there?
Musella, right? I don't
Musella.
see him. I don't see him on the entry list. So he might have been doing the AMR Motorplex Club race that was down at Homestead. So he might have been doing.
Possibly. Shout out to Nitro Motorsports as well, David. I saw a post. You mentioned Nitro Kart being based out of North Carolina and GoPro. I saw that they put a post out that, obviously Nitro starting their Trans Am team as well. And I think Brent Cruz on the podium in the last race, plus a couple of victories at a good success, of course, at the club race at GoPro. Ashton Woon out in Arizona as well. But cool to see them get some success as well with Brent Cruz in that Trans Am car.
Yeah, it was funny to see Brett being asked to leave the podium because they had champagne and he's only 13 years old. So
I didn't see that. Really?
Oh yeah. If you go to the Trans Am Facebook page, they show the video of the podium celebration, and it's I forgot who won, but I think Rafa Matos was the other, and they're the only two on the podium actually spraying the champagne and drinking it.
That's funny. Okay, I got to go look at that when we're done here. The only other two that I think we haven't mentioned yet, maybe three, Christian Cameron. That's had a great start to the season. They have a lot of success, so he's rolling in. You mentioned, right, some of the California guys, West Coasters, coming over to run here on the East Coast. Christian Cameron being a perfect example.
Yeah, Christian Cameron could be a driver that can contend. Looking at other West Coast drivers here, I think him and oh my gosh.
I don't see it. I'm scrolling.
G3 is another guy from California. He's been racing on the East Coast pretty much all season long as well too. So, and then you got to consider DeLong a West Coaster as well from Arizona.
Yeah, he's Arizona. Throw Diego Ardilos in there, Michael Costello, all a bunch of great names. And again, such a huge field, strong field, as David said, for X30 Junior, one of the stronger that we've had. Let's move from X30 Junior to KA100 Junior. David, 52 in this category. Max Garcia and Stephen Miller, winners at Orlando.
Yeah, this was an interesting category. We had pretty much it was Caleb Gaffera and Elio Meza that were the two top drivers all weekend long, except for on Sunday when Stephen Miller came through and was able to beat both of them for the victory. Contact on the final lap allowed Garcia to take the victory on Saturday, so it kind of puts him into the driver's seat in the championship chase, coming in leading by 10 points over Parker DeLong, who had a better performance in the KA100 Junior division than he did in X30 Junior. Cooper Shipman sitting there in third, 46 points back, with Luke Welcome in fourth, 101 points out of first, and then Stephen Miller, our Sunday round 2 winner, sitting fifth, 127 points back. So with the issues that happened on Saturday for Meza and Gaffera, they're sitting 6th and 7th in the points right now coming into the weekend. So a lot of, couple of drivers that are probably going to be among those competing for the victory this weekend, sitting there 6th and 7th in the points. So we're going to see a lot of shakeup in this category in terms of championship, I bet.
Yeah, Gaffera looking to potentially keep the momentum rolling, potentially use that P7 position from Orlando as a drop. He comes in with momentum, as I had said, won the club race in the KA100 Junior category as well, so he's going to feel very good. Wesley Gundler was second in the club race. Ernesto Rivero, Mason Walters, and Beckham Tupakov were the top 5 drivers at that club event, David, and all 5 of those drivers lined up to compete this weekend.
Yeah, so that bodes well for all 5 of those drivers coming into this weekend. And again, a lot of different names that we can go through in the 52 driver roster that we have for this class. So again, all 5 of our championship contenders coming in, racing this weekend, and Garcia leading the way on the Will Power Kart with MPG Motorsports. Garcia, again, double duty, Gaffera doing double duty. So that kind of helps them kind of get acclimated. But you go looking at local drivers, Brickley's doing double duty as well too. So hopefully he'll be able to double dip and do well in both categories with the home track knowledge. And then Gundler is a local as well too. So watch for him to possibly show well in a USPKS. I want to say debut. I'm not really sure if he's ever raced with USPKS. Mason Waters, another GoPro regular as well, and he finished 4th there at the club race as well. So this one you might see a little bit more, kind of like KA100 Senior, where we might see a lot of locals be fast there. I think in the KA100 Junior category as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. You mentioned some of the guys we talked about in KA100, X30 Senior, Max Taylor, Stephen Miller has done well. He's got a really strong momentum run coming early in the season. Was our March driver of the month, as you said. Oscar Eilef, David, as well. Oscar's, obviously been strong over the last couple of years and done some racing overseas. And Oscar, I think, could be a guy to look for here this weekend too.
Yeah, Oscar making that transition up from mini to the junior ranks, and again, doing K instead of X30 junior, I think that's going to help him along the way. We also have Ava Dobson. She's another driver to watch as well with Merlin Nation. Looking John Antonino. We've seen him do really well on the West Coast, challenge for podium positions at Challenge of the Americas. So we'll see if he's able to turn that into some success at GoPro. So he's among the West Coast drivers coming east. Valentino Garbarino, he did really well at the SCUSA Winter Series, the California driver with RP Ryan Perry Motorsports. So he's one of the West Coast drivers making the trek east. Keegan Kaminsky with GFC race or GFC karting, another California driver as well too. So a number of different drivers from all across the country in this category.
We got some quick young ladies as well too. Cameron Reed, who's been doing some Formula 1600 racing, she'll be running as well Ivana Richards, who was has been pretty good to start the season as well. So with some quick young ladies in the field too.
Yeah, again, we're starting to see a lot more female drivers moving up through the sport of karting. We talked about Cicero and a number of other drivers that are in the K100 senior division. Now we're seeing more and more in the K100 junior division as well.
Let's go to X30 Masters now before we get into our final break of the show. 19 entries. David said it's been, that leveling off around 20. We may find ourselves with a walk-up or two. Danilo Ramalho won to start the season. He has a point lead over Scott Roberts by 103 points. Scott Kopp, 110 points back. Mario Barrios, 123 back. And Danny Robertson, 149 back. Ramalho, of course, was the dominant driver essentially in Orlando. But David, as I'm scrolling down, where is Ramalho on the entry list?
He's not on the entry list, but I have confirmed that he will be at GoPro, so he was able to message back to us. So the point leader and double Orlando winner will be at GoPro Motorplex for his first USPKS race there. That'll be an interesting, dynamic to the championship. We know Roberts does really well at GoPro, Scott Kopp and Mario Barrios as well. So they're definitely going to need to attack Ramalho this weekend in order to cut into that championship lead that he has.
Well, let's throw another name in. You mentioned a bunch of them, but how about Renato Jader David? He's back in action. I like that.
Yeah, good to see him back with USPKS. Missed the opener in Orlando back in March. So back. He's won a couple of USPKS races last year, so he certainly you talk about the first 5 drivers in the championship. All 5 of those drivers are able to win. You add in RJD into the mix as well. And then Miguel Mir, another race winner, a lot of different drivers, and Martin Stone, the Rock Vegas winner in the 100cc division. A lot of different drivers that have the opportunity to win this weekend. Yeah,
John Robichaux back in the action as well. I saw that on there. Evan Batt, a driver we've watched for the last number of years, now running X30 Masters. Throw Christian Vermeer in there for Technokart. What I like here is from your notes, Dave. You look at the GoPro Club event that we had for X30 Masters. First and second, Max Pappas and Mike Rollison. I don't think either of those drivers are running this weekend, but that is awesome to see Rollison jump back behind the wheel again. If you're going to run a team and you're talking about what the track feels like, might as well go race it. Mike Rollison's still on track again. I love seeing him when he gets out racing.
Well, he was doing the Thursday practice in Orlando. Again, track run, not done by the series, so you don't have to be entered to be able to go out and do practice. So he's out there getting the data for probably not only the master driver, but the senior drivers and junior drivers as well too. So and I did send out a message to Mac Pappas. I haven't heard back. I was hoping he might be a walk-up entry. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see for that. Again, when the big show comes into GoPro, like we saw last year, we saw Kyle Larson, we saw Joseph Newgarden, we saw Will Power, we saw all those drivers, show up for the October event. I wouldn't put put it past Mac Pappas to be a walk up and try and put his name out there, especially when you got all the different names that are going to be there competing in this class.
And we've talked to Max before about this back in the Rotax days, whatever it was. He absolutely loves GoPro because he would always tell us that Parma was his track, right? That was the track he loved in Italy, was his favorite racetrack, and obviously having the replica of it makes him happy. That's good.
Yeah, shoot, 10. Yeah, I think what we were there for the Rotax Grand Nationals, 10 years ago, 2013.
10 years ago,
yeah. And he was there taking the victory in Masters that day. So he loves that racetrack. He's done really well there. He's very tough to beat there. That is for sure. I know Scott Roberts and Scott Kopp and Barrios all know too well about trying to beat Pappas there, but Romalo, again, he's coming in 2 wins from Orlando. He could possibly be the driver to beat again once again.
Yeah, you're right. I would have to agree with you on that. Final break, folks, in this edition of the OutLap, episode 38, as we'll wrap things up for the preview for this coming weekend's USPKS event at GoPro, Mini Swift, and Micro Swift, the previews after this break.
You want the best? You just gotta roll with the best. Streeter Superstands. This is Jeff Wessel from StreeterSuperstands.com. You wouldn't put subpar parts on your racing cart, so why put that cherished ride of yours on anything but karting's #1 lifts and stands, Streeter Superstands. Streeter is the original and genuine manufacturer of the second-to-none Bigfoot rolling stands, stackers, uprights, and industry-leading Superlift. We also manufacture and sell the largest and always growing roster of trailer and shop accessories like tire, engine and jug racks, cabinets, spray can trays, bead breakers, and tons more to outfit any size trailer, team, and budget. Streeter Superstands has over 30 continuous years of experience. We're kart racers just like you and know that the Streeter name represents the absolute best in stands, lifts, and accessories for karting enthusiasts worldwide. Durability, affordability, unmatched quality, and customer service, that's what sets us apart from the rest. Check us out now at StreeterSuperstands.com. Roll with the best, StreeterSuperstands.com.
Top-level production with a focus on a single form of motorsport, karting. This is MG Tires. MG Tires USA, underneath the Vantage Karting Group banner, is the official distributor of the MG Tires brand for the United States. MG Tires are the official spec tire in the U.S. Pro Kart Series, Route 66 Sprint Series, Sunshine State Karting Challenge, and countless clubs across the country. No matter your compound preference, MG Tires USA has you covered. Whether it's the medium SH Red or the soft SM Yellow that you find at many karting events in the US, or the super soft green SS and the intermediate white IC optional compounds, MG Tires USA has your winning set of rubber in stock. Indoor and outdoor rental facilities can now trust MG Tires with their solution to long-lasting and the best performance with 3 different compounds available through the RL line. For more info about MG Tires USA and its extensive list of dealers near you, check out their website at mgtiresusa.com. MG Tires, for the drivers.
Welcome back to our EKN OutLap as we are previewing this weekend's United States Pro Kart Series Carolina Grand Prix at GoPro Motorplex. Let's wrap things up here right now with the Mini Swift and Micro Swift categories. 41 drivers in total getting set to go in Mini Swift. The winners so far at Orlando, Salvador Della Vecchia and Tyler Roberts. Asher Osteen, though, David, comes away with the points with a better overall performance throughout the weekend. A 24-point lead over Keelan Harvick. Tyler Roberts back by 44 in third spot. Oliver Weldon back by 53 in fourth. And Carson Weinberg, 58 back. All told, only 59 points separate your top 6 when you add in Kai Johnson.
Yeah, it was Salvador Della Vecchia was a disqualification on Sunday, so that's what shakes up the points there because he was obviously the Run 1 winner and was, I want to say, finished second in the main event. I'm trying to go back to my notes here, and I want to say it was too wide with the cart is what the penalty was. I'm looking here. Nope, I can't find it here. So, nope, that's the different day. But yeah, so that kind of shakes up things in the championship. And then Roberts had was was good in the pre-final, but ended up dropping down the order. I think that was the one that he was involved in contact on the last lap, fighting for the race win on Saturday, along with Della Vecchia. So he shuffled down the order. So he's sitting there in third as a race winner in the championship chase. So yeah, this one is going to be a pretty interesting championship as the season unfolds, especially going to GoPro Motorplex, which is home track for Keelan Harvick there, sitting in second spot.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. And in the GoPro Club race we had last weekend, Carson Weinberg got the win. Harvick was second. Carter McMurray into third spot. Good to see Carter's name in there. And Jamie, of course, I'm sure will be trackside. Ethan Tovo and Lucas Palacio, fourth and fifth. All five of those drivers running in the USPKS event this weekend. And David, this could be maybe another one of those categories where local talent and local knowledge could really play, I think, to the favor of the guys up front, right?
Well, you got Harvick. Obviously, we've already mentioned him, another local driver and another third generation driver, just like Harvick, Carter McMurray, Jamie McMurray's son. He'll be one of the locals racing in the Mini Swift division. They're the only two drivers that call North Carolina home. So they definitely have the local knowledge. But a lot of these mini drivers have raced at GoPro multiple times, including Weinberg, again, another Nitro Kart graduate, who's now racing with Speed Concepts Racing aboard the CRG. So he's got a lot of laps there at GoPro. So you can't deny that. And he's, not far, living in Georgia. So he's got that kind of secondary home track for him is GoPro Motorplex.
You kind of play the same thing with the Tovos, right? Ethan Tovo and Jackson Tovo. They've been with Nitro Kart for a number of years. So time at that racetrack, working with the crew there.
Number of years? You mean 3 years, probably 2 years.
Well, I say that right. Probably 3. Yeah, isn't that hilarious?
But they are working with Nitro Kart, who calls GoPro home. So I would certainly. That's something we didn't see too much at Orlando, was the Nitro Kart drivers up front. I think you're going to see a change, obviously, at GoPro. I think you're going to see a lot of Nitro Karts towards the front of the field all weekend long.
Jack Iliff coming in, as we will mention some of the Parolin drivers, because they've had a really good run to start the season. Parolin they were very strong at the SCUSA Winter Nationals. You throw Salvador Della Vecchia on the Parolin, as David already had mentioned. Sarah Bradley has been a strong top 10 runner. I mentioned Jack Iliff. Vivek Canthan has been really good as well. Tyler Roberts, we mentioned him. There's a lot of really strong drivers, David, on that Parolin. And then, of course, jumping up from his Micro Swift championship of the SCUSA Winter Series, Alessandro Truchot as well, all for Parolin USA.
Yeah, and the one that stands out to me is Iliff. I think he wasn't in Orlando for the opener for USPKS, so he was at the SCUSA Winter Nationals. I want to say he did really well there, if I recall from the results I saw. Can you back me up on that?
He did. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry.
I don't have those results memorized yet on what happens, because we haven't talked really about brief. So I didn't hear what happened on that weekend, and I didn't bother reading your reports because I was on vacation.
Man,
but
phoning it in.
I did. I phoned it in. I want to say Iliff, he's a former USPKS champion in Micro Swift. I think he's going to be one to contend against Harvick and Tovo and Weinberg. And then obviously Salvador is going to be there with, again, all those Parolin drivers are going to be right there. So this one's going to be a barn burner. This is going to see, probably 10 to 12 drivers in the lead pack. Hopefully nothing messes them up to where we see all of them fighting for the race win come both main events Saturday and Sunday.
And David, I agree with that 100%. Big dozen up front or more. Pardon me, because I'm looking at other guys I highlighted here, like an Oliver Weldon, like Lucas Palacio, Asher Ockstein, who we've been talking about all year. Kai Johnson, you mentioned that already. Max Christie, Ty Fisher on the TB kart. There's just a ton of good drivers in this grid. And like I said, it could be a 12 to 15 kart pack at the front.
It could very well be. And then again, that changes up the championship chase, depending on who comes out with the victories or podium finishes. This one's going to be a fun one to watch.
All right, let's wrap things up here for this preview with Micro Swift. 37 drivers in total. Marco Sammet and Rocco Simoni winning the 2 races in Orlando. Simoni coming in with a 57-point lead over Benja Fernandez. Jackson Gibson back by just 60. Ashton Woon by 97. Kai Mars by 136. But right there, you got Drew Waltz only 141 back, and Sammet back by only 150. So a pretty tight top 7 with the opening round in the books. Cameron Marshall was the winner in the GoPro club race. Benjamin Bagwell was second. Parker Ives third. Holden Myers fourth. And the only driver in the top 5 in points, David, to get into the top 5 of the club race was Benja Fernandez. So interesting to see, not to see some of the top guys in points showing some success at the club event.
Yeah, Marsha, Granger, Indiana driver aboard a Nitro kart. So as we said about Mini, I think you're going to see in the Micro Swift certainly as well too. A lot of Nitro kart drivers up front. Again, it's home for Team Nitro Kart, and they have a lot of knowledge. They get the drivers comfortable at that facility, and Marsha being one of them, picking up that club win. He actually sits in the 8th position in points for USPKS. So a pretty good weekend in Orlando to come away top 10 in a 30-some driver field. Yeah. So again, if he's able to come into GoPro and be successful like he was at the club race, that could help him move up the points and then make for an even more exciting championship chase. You mentioned Ashton Woon already. He sits 4th in the championship, so you got to expect he'll be one of those leading the Nitro Kart banner all weekend long and trying to help move himself up in the championship chase. So this one's going to be a good one as well.
Yeah, I think a couple other drivers that we mentioned already, Marco Sammet and Rocco Simoni, the winners from the first round. Jackson Porter, David, another one of the Nitro Kart drivers who will benefit from the knowledge that team has on chassis setup around that racetrack as well. Jackson Gibson, Troy Ferguson, 2 other drivers that we've been talking about running top 5, top 10 throughout the season. So I think both those drivers will probably be a factor before it's all said and done as well.
Yeah, and again, we're still learning about a lot of these drivers, including Marsha, Samet, and others as well. So it'll be good to see another good weekend. We've seen Woon at nearly every racetrack we've been to this year. So again, we're still learning some of the drivers' names and who will be in contention. And again, going to another track, you're going to see drivers get acclimated to that track a little bit better than maybe say Orlando. So we could see a little bit of a mix up at the front of the field this weekend.
So that wraps things up for the preview, folks. Make sure to follow EKN throughout the weekend as David heads down south to the 2022 United States Pro Kart Series Carolina Grand Prix. David, you planning on doing the live broadcast on ekartingnews.com/live this weekend?
Yeah, we'll just stream the live PA feed all weekend long on ekartingnews.com/live, along with the EKN Radio Network app. You can either tune in on the /radio, or you can download the app via your phone and listen wherever you are. So again, if you're not able to watch anything, if you're not able to be trackside, you can at least hear the live audio all weekend long, and that'll begin for qualifying Friday afternoon.
There you go. Of course, live coverage from Kart Chasers. Andrew Clements and the crew will be providing that. Also, follow all of our EKN social media platforms. David will be working a lot there on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Top 10s after all the sessions, as always. Great way if you're throughout the weekend, just be able to follow on Twitter, whatever it may be, to see where everybody is top 10 wise throughout the sessions. I know I use that throughout the entire weekend because I'll be busy at Barber Motorsports Park with the Road to Indy and USF Juniors. So I'm constantly going through my Twitter as David's posting to find out what's happening at all the events I can't make it to. The 2 hashtags that David will be using throughout the weekend, hashtag EKN at USPKS and hashtag Carolina Grand Prix. David, you've been on the couch for a while. Time for you to get back to the track.
As you say, I did follow along with Facebook regarding results when I was on vacation when you were in NOLA Motorsports Park. So I appreciate I do appreciate it. Because again, if you're not there, the best way, when you're standing in line waiting for a ride is to get on Facebook and scroll and find the updates from eKarting News.
Nice. I'll be doing the same thing from Barber Motorsports Park.
No, you will not. You'll be too damn busy.
Dude, this schedule's pretty crazy for sure. But
you're getting back to 3 programs in the same weekend again, huh?
Yeah, this is going to be USF Juniors is Thursday, Friday, and then just USF 2000 is like the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think we have the last race of the weekend too. It's gonna be a long weekend for sure. But looking forward to it. A lot of our
so no Indy Pro.
What's that?
No Indy Pro?
Yeah, Indy Pro 2000 is the last race.
Oh,
yeah, they're there.
Gotcha.
They're there. And they're the last race of the weekend. They're actually after IndyCar on Sundays. So people don't want to have to bail out and get in the traffic and hang out and watch Indy Pro 2000 with a bunch of karters that we've talked about for many, many years, right? There's a lot of guys.
And that's a great place to watch a race. All different viewing spots. How many different spots did when we've been there multiple times, we go, I mean, there's at least 10 to 12 different viewing spots that you can just chill and relax and enjoy.
Well, best of luck to everybody racing at the Carolina Grand Prix this weekend. It's going to be fun. It's going to be over 300 entries at the GoPro Motorplex. Kudos to Mark Coates and his whole crew as the USPKS continues to provide fantastic competition and a great platform for everybody to go racing. Again, we wish you all the best. David Cole will be there starting Thursday afternoon. Of course, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Watch all the coverage on our EKN social media channels, and you can listen, of course, at ekartingnews.com/live. On behalf of David Cole, my name is Rob Howden. Bye for now.